Welcome, dear friends, to the Taviren, a Wheel of Time podcast hosted by three gentlemen for whom the very wheel itself bends around. Without further ado, here are your hosts, Bill, Rob, and Rich.
Hello, dear listeners, and welcome to another episode of the Taviren Golden Years podcast, where me and Rich aren't really sure which podcast we're ever doing anymore.
Nope. I'm confused half the time.
I know, I'm so confused as well. I think because we were supposed to record this one yesterday, and normally today is the Golden Years one.
Yes.
So I spent half the morning preparing for Golden Years, and I suddenly remembered at the last minute, oh no, crap. We haven't done the other one yet. Yes, as you may notice, our good friend Rob is not with us today. He is.
It's the first time ever.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, the first time we know Rob. Okay, so apologies to all the listeners. You're about to get a terrible.
If you really liked him.
Yeah, you're about to get a terrible Arpeggy experience with Bill and Rich. But yes, poor old Rob. He's had to deal with a few things, so he's not with us for the day. Because this is a good chapter, and there's some good stuff in here. There's also a Tellings of the Wheel coming out of this chapter, Rich. But I'll have to do that at another date. I like to do the chapter first and then do the Tellings of the Wheel after. So, just give myself more fucking work to do for the week. Oh, man. Fun and games. Now, Rob usually sends us an outline, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Did you get an outline?
Did I what now?
Did you get an outline?
No.
I didn't get an outline.
Hold on. Let me see. Yeah.
No, we didn't get an outline. So I'll use the one from last week. So, hi, I'm Bill. Who are you?
Hi, and I'm Rich.
I'm Rich, and usually Rob's here to keep us on track. Now, usually we do iTunes reviews, but normally Rob checks them. I give up on checking iTunes reviews because it's such a pain in the ass to switch to every single different country and have a look. I'll have to sign up for some sort of automated website at some point. But yes, so just for reference, maybe there's an iTunes review out there, maybe there's not. Oh, we're doing so bad, man.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm checking right now.
Cool. All right, we'll come back to that then. But yeah, Rob's usually the man in charge of iTunes reviews.
Yeah, I have like a lot of news to go over, but that's like not for our regular show.
Well, no, there is news. Next is after we do iTunes reviews, then we do news.
No, I have news for like our normal show, our show.
Oh, for Arpeggy.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like a bunch of stuff happened the last couple of days.
Yeah, lots of stuff happened on that. But we'll save that for tomorrow. Yeah. Where I'll have to do another speed edit for a show. But no, there is, however, obviously Wheel of Times news. Now, you've all heard Rob's hot take, which he posted earlier in the week on the feed, on the Emmonsfield 5, as they're now known. So last week when me and Rob did the episode, we did it in the morning, knowing that it was going to be a Wheel of Time Wednesday coming out shortly afterwards. And so this is probably the last place you're going to hear this for the first time. Yes, they've finally casted 5 characters for the Emmonsfield lot. Now, that means Rand has been casted, Perrin's been casted, Matt's been casted, and Nynaeve and Egwene. And personally, I think they're all it all looks really good.
Yeah, I would agree there. There's a lot of unknown actors. Are not really actors and actresses that have been in the spotlight a lot, which is actually, in my opinion, it could be a good thing.
Yes, well, I think that's why they went for a known actress for Moraine.
Yep.
But that basically means, to get through like the first bit of the Eye of the World books, we're only really waiting for the casting of Lan, who I also assume will be a fairly high-profile actor.
Yeah.
So maybe today, Rich, being it's Wednesday, we might get an announcement for Lan for Wheel of Time Wednesdays.
I'm hoping.
I really hope it's Usain Bolt. That's my prediction right here. Jamaican Lan, Usain Bolt. This is what the people want out there.
It can't be Sean Bean because
I can't say anything about that. But yeah, unfortunately, it can't be Sean Bean. I think Sean Bean's too old to play that.
No.
There are plenty of King characters down the road he could play. It'll be nice. It'll be nice to give Sean Bean a character that doesn't die.
I know, that's why I was like, let's give him somebody that doesn't die. Like, I bet he goes into his auditions every time and goes, all right, when do I die?
When do you want me to die? See, it's so strange for me because like I know Sean Bean from when he was like a British actor and he used to do like all these British films and stuff. Yeah. And he never used to die in those. It was only when he made it big that he started dying and everything.
Yeah, it's weird. But so now it's a big meme in the United States. Like every time he shows some movie, like, okay, so when is he gonna die?
Oh, because have you seen the film Any Given Sunday?
Wait, no, I haven't.
No, it's an American football film. I think it's got Cameron Diaz in it.
I have, but I just can't remember it.
Oh, okay.
Well, yes, I've seen it. Didn't it have Al Pacino in it?
I think so, yes. That film is actually based on a film called Any Given Sunday, which was a British film about football, real football. You know, not the thing you play where you dress up in like padded outfits and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, Sean Bean was the main character. And all I remember about it was that he had sex with loads of women in it.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, come on, Sean Bean. Sean Bean needs a job on this show. Oh no, actually, because he was in Game of Thrones, wasn't he?
Yeah.
No, he won't be getting on this show. I think they're good. I think they're trying to distance themselves from Game of Thrones as much as possible.
True.
But yeah, one of the things that has kind of surprised me about the casting is the reaction people have given to the skin color of the actors.
Yeah.
It just boggles my mind. I just don't understand where this sort of stuff comes from. Like, I didn't for one moment look at the actors' skin colors. I just kind of looked at their face and then imagined them wearing the outfits that I imagined from the Wheel of Time. Just being like, yeah. Because when I first saw Rand, I kind of thought, well, he's kind of more what I imagined Perrin to look like. And then when I saw the actor they'd put in for Perrin, I was like, no, that's exactly what I imagined Perrin to look like.
Yeah, I think they made some good choices.
I think it's a really good casting. But yeah, I'm just so surprised at the fact that people still put so much focus on that sort of stuff these days. I mean, from reading the books, I'm not even sure. I don't even remember him. I don't remember Robert Jordan mentioning what type of skin color the guys were from Emmonsfield.
No, they don't. I mean, he doesn't even talk about that. And that's another thing too with all these great writers is they don't do that. They like to leave that up to imagination.
Yeah, it could just keep it ambiguous. Because I mean, I always imagined it like the Two Rivers kind of sounds like certain parts in like the middle of England, rurally. And so I always imagined them to be, you know, quite grizzled, rough hands, you know, slightly tanned from working out in the fields during the summer because they're all farmers and sheep herders and they're all, you know, that's kind of how I imagined it. I don't really think much more deeper than that. It's just like, then I saw all these actors done. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I really like the looks of them all. I just hope they can act, you know. That's all you really want, isn't it? You want them to be able to act the part. And then, just suddenly seeing all the people complaining about it on Twitter, it's just like, where are you getting this from? I'm sure he didn't mention anything like that.
No, I don't even pay attention to it.
Yeah, and then this is where I get some stuff from Narg, although he's just taken it straight from Brandon Sanderson, who posted it on Reddit. But yeah, he says basically the same thing. He says, like, casting's a very difficult thing, and sometimes, you know, you have to let the people creating the stuff move away from the source material in order to create the vision of stuff. Because he mentions a lot of things which have been successful in the past, which moved away from the source material because it just kind of wouldn't flow on a film or a TV program. And he mentions like specifically, like say Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, because Hugh Jackman, if you think of Wolverine nowadays, you think of Hugh Jackman. But before that casting was done, Hugh Jackman's nothing like Wolverine.
No.
You know, but Hugh Jackman's taken that role. And he also mentions like the MCU universe, because he says like, you know, they changed a lot of things with the characters and the stuff to make it all fit together for the cinematic universe they did for Marvel Comics. Because like, I mean, Iron Man was a third-rate character.
Correct.
He was in the comics, and he's become like the biggest part of the Marvel universe. But because they had to go through and change things, and he also mentions things like, say, when they did Lord of the Rings, the bits where like Frodo starts pushing Sam away from him, like emotionally. That really wasn't in the books, but it was kind of like the only way to tie it together properly in the film. And so you have to give like the director Jackson like his ability to go off in that sort of thing. And so Brandon's just like, what the hell do you care? He says like, I've looked at what Raph's doing. I've looked, or you know, he says like, I've got the advantage of having read the scripts and read the scenarios and spoken to Raph about things. And he says, like, it just all makes perfect sense with Raph's vision. He says Raph's vision isn't going to be a perfect recreation of the book because that just won't work.
Correct.
But yeah, but it was quite an interesting read. But yeah, it's just like this sort of strange, like, weird, like, racism thing that's sort of coming into it. I know some people won't call it racism. They'll be like, well, I just not how I imagined it. But it's not going to be how you imagined it. It's going to be its own thing, and you've got to release that tension of it being what you imagine in your mind. Because if you do, it's just never going to live up to your expectations.
Correct.
Cool. Yeah, but that was about the only news. Like I say, it's Wheel of Time Wednesday, and I don't think Wheel of Time Prime's actually released anything yet today.
No, I checked.
Yeah, shame. shame. But yeah, hopefully we'll hear something else coming out soon. So what's next on our agenda? So we've done the news. Oh yeah, sorry. As always, thank you to Narg for pointing out stuff towards me. He's the one who pointed me towards the Reddit post for Brandon Sanderson. So thank you for that. And that's it. So should we get into the chapter 19?
Let's do it.
Shadows Waiting. So, good old Lan, or Usain Bolt, as I'm going to call him from now on. He's leading the party into the city of Arendelle. And this city is completely, I mean, it's just such mixed emotions from Rand, because obviously, you know, as we're still seeing things just from Rand's point of view at the moment. And he's just like absolutely immersed in this huge, great, big, impressive city. But at the same time, the city's broken as fuck.
Yep. I imagine it pretty destroyed.
Yeah, it's pretty destroyed. He's talking about certain things like, you know, towers that aren't complete and falling over, and how dangerous it all looks, and but also at the same time how big and impressive, and how, like, even some of the smallest buildings would swallow up the inn in Burlon by itself. And yeah, just absolutely amazed and everything as he's looking around. And he even mentions to himself, God, when we said about how big Burlon was, Tom must have been laughing behind his moustache. It's just like, yeah, Tom was. He openly mocked you at the time. City. But yeah, they continue into the city, and Moraine chooses a place to stay. I'm pretty sure it's just like Ib Dib Dab. That place looks alright. We'll stay there. And Nynaeve is, as they're sort of setting themselves up, she's scolding Lan for some reason. Like, she even goes to him and calls him Lord of the Seven Towers, like poking fun at him for his title. It's just like, what is Nynaeve doing? She just loves poking the hornet's nest, doesn't she?
She does. That's pretty much all she needs to do.
Yeah, she's like, you, Lord of the Seven Towers, I heard Moraine call you that once. Now I'm going to use it in your face, even though I have no idea what the context of it is. It's like, Nynaeve, you need to get some context, my friend. Lord of the Seven Towers is an awesome title. You know, that's not what they call me. But yes, she's always so Nynaeve's trying to help. She's the reason she's berating Lan is because she wants to help Moraine, because Moraine's obviously tired, she's worn out, and Nynaeve's saying, like, come on, you need some help, have some of my herbs. And eventually Moraine agrees. She says, like, look, I'm all right. I don't need as much rest as you guys because I have access to the one power because I'm awesome. I imagine that's what she says. But I could do with an hour. So have you got anything that would give me an hour's sleep and make me not groggy? So Nynaeve's like, oh, yes. And in. And in the meantime, all the young ones are out sort of tying the horses up and making sure the horses are right and secure. And they all start discussing amongst themselves. And Matt is just desperate to go out and explore. That's all he wants to do. But he sort of ducks his head into, like, where they're tying up the horses. There's a little alleyway next to it, and he ducks his head into it and gets covered in cobwebs.
Nice.
Yeah, he's so impetuous.
The whole building, like, I look at the chapter and stuff, and when I was reading it, it's really crazy how much, like, how Robert Jordan actually states, like, how worn down this place is. It's been, I guess, taken over by the night.
Yes. It's like it's being swallowed by by the darkness and time itself. There's just not much to this city at all. It's so big and open, and yet there's just nothing in it. Because yeah, Matt's very upset about he mentions here as well that he's upset about the fact that he shouted out in the old blood, and he shouted out his battle cry in the old tongue.
Yeah, he's confused by that too a little bit.
He's just like, what? Because I think Egwene actually mentions it, and it's just like, hey, what was you shouting about? Random parent like, hey, we just needed to shout something. She's like, oh, Matt, come on, you idiots. Matt actually shouted in the old tongue, and then Matt feels like he's being possessed by a dead demon or something. And Tom's the one who points out, hey, don't say that, because that's a real thing. What you've got something very different. You've just got old blood inside you. You should be thankful that you know that your heritage goes back so far, because some people don't even know who their fathers are. And Rand's a bit like, oh, I'm not sure who my father is. Because at the moment, the last thing he had was Tam's fever dream, saying, I might have just found you somewhere.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm an orphan. Well, that's been a lie.
I might be an orphan. Don't say that. But yeah, so Tom backs up, saying, come on, you've got old blood, it's all right. And then Tom goes and has his buggers off and has his pipe. And at this point, being left on his own, Matt and the boys are just like, come on, guys, we've got to go out and explore. Now's the time.
Yep.
We're going to go out and explore Aridol with no white cloaks, as he mentions to Rand. And then as they duck into the little alleyway where Matt went before, and they go out into the street, and then Matt starts running down the street shouting, I'm free, I'm free. Just like, come on, how much freedom do you want?
Were they almost, killed?
Yeah. Not at this point, I don't think. But yeah, they're almost killed. But I mean, come on, they've left the two rivers. Like, they've got to be more free than ever. But every time they get away from Moraine, they're like, yeah, freedom, even though it always goes wrong.
Yeah, why I'd be sticking to that lady all the time.
I know. I'd be like glued to her.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving you, love. You've got the one power, and I've got nothing.
That's right.
But yeah, they start searching through the broken city of Arendelle, and they start searching through all the biggest buildings first. And it's just a big, empty, dusty city that's all broken. And they're just like, after a while, the boys start getting quite tired, and they're like, I just want to go to sleep, actually. we were in a massive battle with Trollocs only like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, now I'm going to go explore.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, no, actually, I'm really tired. And Matt's just like, oh, come on, we want to climb up these I want to climb up a tower. And then a voice from the darkness says to them, the towers are not safe. Yeah. Dum dum dum. Yeah, I got you this week. It's a guy called Mordeth. Now, I don't know about you, Rich, but if you was in an ancient, broken, empty city and you bumped into a guy whose name was Mordeth, what would your reaction be?
Screaming stranger danger and taking off running.
Stranger danger. Yeah.
No, we're not going to mess with that.
I would Rochambeau him and then run away. It's just like,
or I trip you and run away.
Yeah, I would sacrifice I would throw Rob at the guy and then run for my life. Yeah.
We could do honestly the have you seen Thor Ragnarok?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
They kind of all blend together after a while.
I know, the get help. Like, where Thor basically like has Loki on his side and he comes out and he goes, help, my brother, he needs help him, and he throws Loki at the enemy. We do that. I
don't think I have seen that. But that sounds really fun.
He's like, we should do get help. He's like, I don't want to do that. He's like, yeah, we're gonna do it. So it's humiliating. I'm like, no, we're gonna do it.
Okay, so we both agree we're gonna sacrifice Rob for our own safety.
He's not here.
Cool. Okay.
Sorry, buddy.
No, sorry, Rob. So the guy Mordeth, he goes, I'm not a bad guy. And it's like, what are you guys doing here? So Rand says, well, we're on our way to Camelin. As you do. So I've got another sneeze coming.
Well, he does that.
Sorry, my hay fever.
I will talk for a moment.
Go for it. My hay fever's playing up.
You're good. So they're trying to figure out why, or no, this guy's asking him why they're there, Mordeth. And he starts to tell them, they're like, oh, we're on our way to Camelin. where they're just passing through.
Yeah, a nice simple explanation. We're passing through on the road to Cayman. That seems fairly plausible. Even though, like, why would you be this far north off the Cayman road? Mordef doesn't seem to care.
Nope.
So what does Mordef offer them?
A chance to help him discover some treasure that he's found.
Yes, and to carry it off outside of the city.
Yeah.
He's found more treasure than he could possibly carry, and oh, what luck! He's found 3 nice, strong young boys to help him. If only they would descend into this giant dark basement and help him claw it out. Alarm bells are ringing here, Rich.
Yeah, stranger danger.
Stranger danger. Yeah, this guy is trying to lure you into his basement with some sweets. Come on, boys, think. God, how secluded was the 2 rivers? Come on, this is ridiculous. But yes, so as Matt is desperate to get some treasure, they start following Mordef down into the basement. Well, I assume he's going to, do some nasty things to them.
I guess
very, very inappropriate things, I imagine. So as they descend down, Rand is the one who's sort of looking at Mordef, thinking something's just not right about this guy. Something's just a little bit off. I'm not sure what it is. And at that moment, they walk into this room, and it's all dark. They can't really see anything, but there's a nice little bit of lighting down in the room at the bottom. And there it is. There is piles and piles of gold and treasure,
just everywhere.
Yeah, Mordef was not joking. Like, this is like the mother lode. And Matt's just like, oh my god, I'm gonna need some sacks.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need some sacks so that I can bloody get on this shit. I'm carrying all this home. And I think at this point, Mordef asks them a question, and it's because I think Perrin. It might be Perrin. So this might be a moment where Perrin does something stupid. I'll have to double check if it is Perrin or not. But he's the one who mentions that Moraine and Lan won't even be that angry with them when they come back and they show them all this stuff.
Yeah, and that's the logic behind that.
Yeah, Mordef's like, are you with others? And then Rand...
you
Matt,
didn't tell me that. He freaks out.
Well, no, this is the bit where Matt just verbal diarrhea.
Oh, yeah, because he was excited.
Yeah, he was excited. He's like, yeah, we're here with Lan, Moraine, Nynaeve, Egwene, Tom, and he's a Gleeman. He's like, yeah, we're all on our way to Tar Valon. And then, Mordef just blows you shit. He's just like, what? You said you were going to Camelin, but you're going to Tar Valon. And he just goes absolutely sparko. Crazy at them. Oh, man. And, yeah, just absolutely explodes.
Stupid.
Yeah, it's just really stupid. And
it's like, my opinion of this, it's like whenever he's got really bad ADHD, and it's a squirrel that runs in front of him, and he's chasing the squirrel, and all of a sudden he's like, I got to tell you everything I'm doing at this moment.
Yeah, we're going to Tarvalon. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And then Mordef gets angry, but he also calms back down. And then Rand says, "Oh my God, you don't have a shadow."
Yep, and he realizes what happened.
And it's just like, what? And then Mordef just screams at them, "You're all dead. You're all dead."
And then he explode up. He just basically
he starts to grow really and grow and pulse out, become huge and everything. And then I'm not really sure what happens, but he suddenly whelps like a dog's been kicked. And then he just shrinks off into, and then he disappears through a crack in the wall.
Yeah.
And it's just I went over it twice. And it was just yeah, I don't understand what happened here. But suddenly Mordef just disappears through a crack in the wall, turns to mist, goes through a crack, and the boys are just shit.
Yep.
Matt being Matt still wants to grab a bit of treasure, but but Perrin's like, I don't want anything that this guy's peddling. He can keep this fucking treasure. And so they physically, Perrin and Rand physically have to grab Matt and run away.
Yep.
Then the boys run out of the tower. Run out of this basement thing, and they start running through the streets to get back to where they were. And this is the point. They feel the eyes watching them. Creepy.
The eye.
Yes. The eyes are watching. They're always watching.
Yep. And that's why they're like, okay, we need to leave.
Yeah, it's just creepy as fuck. I always remember the first time I read this book, just being like so creeped out by this moment of them walking, like running or jogging through the streets, getting back to their, feeling like there were eyes in everything, like too many eyes to just be Mordeth, feeling like the Watchers were looking at them. And then suddenly the eyes just stop watching as they climb up the steps to where everyone's hiding out. It's just like one footstep they're being watched, the next footstep they don't feel like they're being watched. But I like the fact they were running through the city shouting at the tops of their voice to try and scare things off.
Yeah, like a bunch of idiots.
I can't wait to see that in the TV show.
They'll probably edit that.
Yeah. Yes, and then as they feel the eyes depart them, they start jogging, then they start running into the building, and they all fall over each other as they enter. And yeah, as always, first to give them a good schooling is Nynaeve.
Yep.
She's like, "You war-headed witlings! When Land gets back, he's going to pound some sense into you." Because they sent off. Of course, when the boys go missing, what do? You send out Land because he's the man. And then Moraine's the one who's like, "Okay, guys, you shouldn't have run off. Obviously, the way you guys have returned, something's happened. So tell me about it." The boys start blabbering out all over each other, and they can't really make it out. And at one point, Moraine goes, "Is there Trollocs inside the city?" And she's freaking out. She's like freaking the fudge out a bit. No, we didn't see any Trollocs. And then it's like, no, we saw a guy called Mordeth. And then this is where she absolutely shits a brick. She's like, Mordeth? Are you sure? Are you sure about Mordeth? Did he give you anything? And it's just like,
no, he didn't. He tried to offer us a lot of stuff, but we didn't take it. I swear.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we didn't take anything. We didn't have anything. That's it. And Moraine, Nynaeve again says, "Oh, it was Matt's. Must be Matt's doing. Don't blame Matt for everything. Like, this pretty much is his fault, but don't blame him." Poor old Matt. He always gets to blame.
That's right.
And this is where Moraine sits down because Matt complains and like, "Come on, you said the Trollocs weren't going to enter this place. I thought it was safe." And she was saying, and she rightly says to him, "How safe do you think a place is that Trollocs won't enter? A place that can scare Trollocs and Myrddraal?"
Yeah, they didn't think that far ahead, did they?
No. That's a general theme of the early parts of the book. They don't really think a lot because they're war-headed idiots. And this is where she sits down and tells them the story of Arundel, which is going to be my next telling of the wheel. So hopefully I can squeeze that out before next week.
Nice.
Fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed. Depends how busy I get. So she tells the story of Arundel, which just in briefly is about Baldwin Ironhand, who was the ruler of Arundel. Mordeth, the same guy, many thousands of years ago, entered his court and poisoned his ear, and eventually managed to poison his ear to the point where he abandons the light. Yes, and they'd abandoned the light. Then there's a whole story about Prince Carr and stuff, which Moraine even says is too long to explain right now. But at one point, Mount Ephrin came to save Arundel. But as it turns out, it was too late, and it had been taken by a creature called Mashadar. And Mashadar had also absorbed Mordeth. And apparently, through some strange bit of lore, which I don't really understand how Moraine knows or anyone else knows, but it must be well known amongst Aes Sedai for some reason. If Mordeth gives you an object and you carry it out of the city, then he will absorb your body, and then he'll escape. Just like that is so like precise bit of knowledge that you've got there, Moraine.
That's right.
Yeah, strange. Yeah, so apparently if you take a bit of Mordeth's treasure and you help him carry it outside of the city limits, he's then going to slowly take over your body and absorb your soul and have your body for his own. Good old Mordeth.
Yeah, and didn't it mean he can walk around? I think that's what it means.
No, I think it means like his soul will take over that person's body.
Yeah, which means he'll be able to walk around.
Oh, yes. Yeah, walk around. Yeah, I suppose. So, Moraine basically says, we've got to leave now. but we're going to wait for good old J-Land to return. So they all kip down to wait for Land to come back. And at this point, Rand he struggles for sleep. When he eventually does get to sleep, he dreams of being pursued by Mordeth. But while he's being pursued, there's an old man laughing at him. Again, this feeds into one of my theories, which I can't talk about now because it's spoilers. But yes, very, very, very prominent little bit of a dream there. And then everyone wakes up because Lan returns. He's got 3 pins that he drops to the floor to prove that he's killed a bunch of Trollocs that were inside the city. And he says, there was a bunch of Kevins. Sorry, Myrddraal. Yeah, there was a couple of Kevin the Myrddraals. And there was a couple of Trollocs inside the city. And he rightly points out, the Myrddraal are forcing the Trollocs into the city, but what's forcing Kevin into the city? Kevin. I am Kevin. What's forcing Kevin? So, yeah, good point there, Lan. What the hell is forcing Kevin into the city that they're so scared of? Because, sorry, I know I got interrupted during the Arundel bit. One of the important things was that there was a Trolloc army of the Dark One parked inside the city one day, and then the next day it was gone. And the scouts who went inside found Trolloc blood all over the walls and everywhere, and even markings in the Trollocs on the walls in blood, saying in the Trolloc language, saying, "Oh, Dark One, come help us in our hour of need."
Yeah, and then I guess after a couple of days, it was all gone.
Yeah, they went back in the next day, and all the blood was gone. And so everyone's just like, yeah, let's stay away from here. But that's why it's embedded in the Trollocs and the Myrddraal's memories that this place is dangerous as fuck.
There's probably that guy probably has a janitor that he doesn't take, he doesn't kill, comes in and cleans up the place after he's murdered people.
God damn it!
Yep.
So much blood
Can
everywhere.
you not do that again, please? Well, I gotta do it.
Damn you, Mashadar! I've got to clean all this shit up.
Yeah,
I've got to retire in 6,000 years. And yeah, this is basically where we come to the end. Moraine says, "We are the hare, and it's the hounds that dictate the chase." And so they're going to leave Arundel and head north to the Arundel River, where they're going to hopefully try and either cross the river by building a raft, or hopefully howl down a merchant ship that's going past. And again, as a nice bit of random knowledge to throw in there, apparently Trollocs hate deep water, and Myrddraal hate them too.
Yep.
Just why?
They just do.
Yeah, they just do. Yep. We'll accept it. And that is the end of chapter 19, Shadows Waiting.
Something crazy is gonna happen.
Yeah, man. This is a good book. Good chapter. It introduces Mordeth and Mashadar, and we're going to find out a bit more about Mashadar in the next chapter. But the next chapter is a very exciting one. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And I believe Rob has got something planned for that chapter as well.
He does?
That he's been going on about. Yeah. There's been a joke on the Discord that he's apparently going to do a good impersonation of a woman on the readings with Rob.
Oh,
but I don't think that's going to work.
That's going to be weird.
Yeah, I don't know. He's literally mentioned nothing about it to us, but he's got something planned. So it's chapter 20, Dust on the Wind. It's going to be our next chapter. So look forward to that. I don't know what Rob's planning, but hopefully he'll be back for that.
He's planning probably something fun.
Hopefully.
And now, the Taviren present to you Readings with Rob. Chapter 19, Shadows Waiting. Suddenly Rand realized what had been nagging him about the man. The scattered torches in the hallway had given each of them a ring of shadows, just as the torches in the treasure room did. Only... he was so shocked he said it out loud. "You don't have a shadow." A goblet fell from Matt's hand with a crash. Mordeth nodded, and for the first time, his fleshy eyelids opened all the way. His sleek face suddenly appeared pinched and hungry. "So!" He stood straighter, seeming taller. "It is decided!" Abruptly, there was no seeming to it. Like a balloon, Mordeth swelled, distorted, head pressed against the ceiling, shoulders butting the walls, filling the end of the room, cutting off escape. Hollow cheek, teeth bared in a rictus snarl, he reached out with hands big enough to engulf a man's head. With a yell, Rand leaped back. His feet tangled in a gold chain, and he crashed to the floor, the wind knocked out of him. Struggling for breath, he struggled at the same time for his sword, fighting his cloak, which had become wrapped around the hilt. The yells of his friends filled the room, and the clash of gold platters and goblets clattering across the floor. Suddenly, an agonized scream shivered in Rand's ears. Almost sobbing, he managed to inhale at last, just as he got the sword out of its sheath. Cautiously, he got to his feet, wondering which of his friends had given that scream. Perrin looked back at him wide-eyed from across the room, crouched and holding his axe back as if about to chop a tree down. Matt peered around the side of the treasure pile, clutching a dagger snatched from the trove. Something moved in the deepest part of the shadows left by the torches, and they all jumped. It was Mordeth, clutching his knees to his chest and huddled as deep into the furthest corner as he could get.
"He tricked us," Matt panted. "It was some kind of trick."
Mordeth threw back his head and wailed. Dust sifted down as the walls trembled.
"You are all dead!"
he cried.
"All dead!"
And he leaped up, diving across the room. Rand's jaw dropped, and he almost dropped the sword as well. As Mordeth dove through the air, he stretched out and thinned, like a tendril of smoke. As thin as a finger, he struck a crack in the wall tiles and vanished into it. A last cry hung in the room as he vanished, fading slowly away after he was gone.
"You're all dead!"
"Let's get out of here," Perrin said faintly, firming the grip on his axe while he tried to face every direction at once. Gold ornaments and gems scattered unnoticed under his feet.
"But the treasure,"
Matt protested.
"We can't just leave it here now."
"I don't want any of this. I don't want anything of this," Perrin said, still turning one way after another. He raised his voice and shouted at the walls. "It's your treasure, you hear? We are not taking any of it." Rand stared angrily at Matt. "Do you want him coming after us? Are you going to wait here stuffing your pockets until he comes back with 10 more like him?" Matt just gestured to all the gold and the jewels. Before he could say anything, though, Rand seized one of his arms and Perrin grabbed the other. They hustled him out of the room, Matt struggling and shouting about the treasure. That was Readings with Rob. If there's a passage in an upcoming chapter you wish to have read on the podcast, simply tweet us at TavirenPod with your request.
So, have you got anything else you want to talk about with this chapter?
Not really. I mean, this chapter does a really good job setting things up. What's going to happen in the next one? Kind of sees the Mordeth, I mean, is what his name is, and what's going to happen. And really, this is the start of something that's going to be affecting long down the road.
Yes, there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen after this.
Yeah,
and I'm really excited for. And we haven't actually heard anything, and we haven't managed to mention or spoil it during this episode.
I know, because I want to say some stuff, but I don't want to.
Yeah, I know. So let's not talk about that thing that we know happens.
Yes. By the way, I did find the iTunes review. We got 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to read them out?
So, yeah, let's read them out because the chapter's over. We got that figured out, right?
Yep.
Well, that's good. All right. I don't know. Did Rob read the August 8th one?
Who is it from?
Kelthazar?
Yes.
Then we have no reviews.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know if you read it or not.
Excellent.
My bad.
Cool. Okay then. Well, we don't have any reviews. So guys, please rate and review us on your favorite podcatching apps, and let us know what you think. You know, we always like a bit of constructive criticism if you've got it, or just give us a blind punch in the face. That's fine.
Yeah, we just want to know if we're good and
yeah,
we don't suck.
If we're up to your expectations, or if there's anything we can do better. So let us know. And yeah, you can follow us on Twitter at TavrienPod and all your other favorite places. I've not really got anything else. So should we call it a day?
Let's do it.
All right, I'm going to camp out in this building with Lan. I am not moving away from him until Mordeth's gone.
Nice.
I am petrified. I think I need some special. I'm going to get some special herbs from Nynaeve to help me sleep. Oh, I do. Over and out.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. If you want to continue the conversation, tap into the One Power and contact us on Twitter at TavirenPod. You can also contact Bill at Matunica and Rich at HailBlue1569. You can also reach Rob at his website, digging, D-I-G-G-I-N, diggingdeepsports.com. And, as always, we will see you at the Wine Spring Inn.
Here's to another great podcast, gentlemen. Cheers! Ah, damn it, Bill! Not again! Brad, can you get another round of pints for me and the boys? Yes, again. No, Bill this time. Thank you, Brad. Much appreciated. Now, where were we, men? Actually, I believe it's Rich's turn at the Stones table. What's that you say? No, I don't think old Sen will have Mac ready.
Hello, friends. This is Troidal Power, host of the Troidal Power Presents the Power Playthroughs podcast with Troidal Power, a podcast where I, your host, Troidal Power, play through games in a powerful way. And I'm inviting you to listen to Troidal Power Presents the Power Playthroughs podcast with Troidal Power, a podcast where I, your host, Troidal Power, play through games in a powerful way. You can find it and a lot of other weird shows at probablywork.com.
This has been a presentation
of the We Can Make This Work
Probably Network.
Follow us on Twitter
at probablywork
for more of our questionable content.
Also, we have a website called probablywork.com.